All right, good morning. D-Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer. I just did a video yesterday entitled Atheism is Not Special, Part 2. This might be the last one I do because I thought I was done with this, but I'm going to say it again. When you watch YouTube, you get all into it. Sometimes I have to just, when I look at the comments on my channels and when I read the comments on other people's channels, and the worst place you ever want to go on YouTube is anybody's comment section, because it just keeps you arguing. And this is what atheists love. They love to argue because you can sit there and talk about God all you want to and talk about how good God is and what God has done, and you know, you can talk about, you know, years of theology and years of church denominations and what God has done for this denomination and what God has done through us in our particular denomination and all like that. You can talk about sin and why everybody's wrong and we're right. And then all they got to say is, where is the evidence of your God? And the room gets real quiet. Now, there's a whole bunch of people, different people in the room. The room gets quiet. Where is evidence of your God? And the room gets quiet. Now, there's quietness for different reasons. To one group over here, they're quiet, but they're looking at each other like, what's wrong with him? You know, and then after a few minutes, somebody's going to put their two fingers up and they're going to say, how many fingers am I holding up, brother? Is there evidence of my two freaking fingers? You know. And other people are going to be like, whoa, he hit us really hard with that one. Whoa, he got a point. Like, where is evidence of God? Does that cut it down the middle? Does that really shut it down just because you asked for evidence and you know can't nobody answer your question? And that is the whole point of this. As I said in the last video, nobody is looking for evidence of God. Nobody. Nobody is looking for evidence of God. The atheists are not looking for evidence of God. T.J. Kirk, you're wrong. He made a speech when he got all butthurt because the Max, the guy from Deflating Atheism, that title right there pisses atheists off, okay? When he said that, T.J. Kirk responded, in his response video to him, he recorded a response video defaming, mocking, deflating atheism. And T.J. Kirk was like, well, if God, if he, there is, you know, and he was saying the dumbest stuff. I could say the same thing about love. I could say the same thing about evolution, and I do. Okay? I could say the same thing about things that exist as well as things that don't exist, or things that appear to exist versus things that we claim don't exist. And that's a fact. Bible says here, this is one of the reasons why I'm not an atheist. One of the reasons right here. It talks about homosexuality before it gets to everything that leads up to the rest of the world. The rest of the world is not off the hook. Atheists have been conditioned to believe that homosexuality is the worst sin that a person commits, and yet it is the most, to them it is the most I'm trying to think of a word. It is the most moral thing in America to them, homosexuality. To them, it's the most loving thing. It doesn't matter that just a few days ago, we had to break up a fight between two homosexuals in front of my hospital. Okay? Which also makes it look apparent that homosexuality could be natural, because we thought the one girl was a guy, and it turns out it was a girl. And the smaller girl fought back when she seen that the police were coming. She fought back, and she prevailed. They had to pull her off the more guys-looking girl. Sounds like your typical heterosexual domestic violence. Okay? I've been there. So you look at all that in light of, let's say, evolution. You look at that in light of, let's say, whatever you believe about the whole gay gene, transgender gene, anatomy, BS, okay? You look at that in light of that. Excuse me. I was fine until I decided to do this video. Then all of a sudden, I don't know, I opened a window or something, and boom, my allergies started acting up. But anyway, one would believe, especially if there is no God, one would believe that, well, there you have proof that a woman can have a man's chromosomes. Why is one a topper and one a bottom? See, me, I look at that differently in light of Scripture. Because nobody engages in that without knowing how to play the role. Okay? Nobody, you know what I'm saying? And then I've seen homosexuals, on the street performing in front of everybody, but when they are behind closed doors, like, when I was in Job Corps and we were all, in dorm rooms and things of that nature, places where you can get homosexuals to be honest. Places where you can get homosexuals to be honest. If you become friends with a homosexual, like really friends with a homosexual, you'll get them to be honest. And I watched a video yesterday about Kevin Spacey, and now everybody's mad at Kevin Spacey because he waited till after his situation of being accused of trying to sexually defile some young teenage actor that was a male. he came shortly after that and admitted that he was gay. All right. But see, homosexuals behind closed doors will tell you that it is the same thing. Sorry to bust your bubble, atheists. The defenders of everything evil. Homosexuality behind closed doors will confess that homosexuality and going after little boys is all in the same place, because most of the homosexuals that I've met, okay, that were, let's say, of an aggressive form, and not only that, even the bottoms, okay, I'm getting off the subject here, but even the bottoms, they agreed that it was hard for them around little boys. I had a friend of mine that was gay. Okay? He told me to my face, if he had a little brother, you don't want him to have a little brother, because if he had a little brother, he would molest him. He said this to my face. He wasn't joking. He was dead serious. And so what I see going on in the world, to jump into it, is the fact that the epidemics that are going on in the world are prophecy. Right here in the scriptures. Prophecy. And it hasn't changed as much. It was already crazy, and then as we spread around the world and different people began to create their cultures, we would cut it here in certain pieces and cut it here in certain pieces, and you name it. But see, what these people don't realize is that atheism thinks that, what the atheists don't realize is that they think that we naturally are moral. But there was always a genetic tie to morality. There was always cultures that were already either religious or Christian. Other cultures emerging out of those cultures. Just like today, we have all these religions. To atheists, it's a confusion, and it gives them a warrant, a badge to say that everything's a lie. But to us, it's the sad truth about rebellion against God. To us, it's the sad truth. The sad truth. And it's even sadder today than it was in Noah's day, because you would think we would know better by now. But we don't. People, even as I speak, are creating religions. But God had already set up Israel to be his chosen people, as you know. And then what happened? Religions emerged from that, counter religions. Everything from the god Dagon and Baal all the way to atheism. These are all counter religions. Even the religions that claim to use this Bible, they are counter religions. In fact, Christianity in itself is not a religion. It just simply means to be a disciple of Christ. But today we have Jews that claim they're the disciples of Christ. We have Israelites like You can separate. Okay. Anyway, we got Israelites and Jews, Lord help us, that claim that they're the true disciples of Christ. And then we have Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons. They claim they're the disciples. We got Masons. They say they're better than everybody. We got denominations like Pentecostals and Baptists, Presbyterian, Lutheran, you name it. Everybody thinks they're better than another or better than the rest. Yes, atheists, you win on that aspect of it because the church has failed. And when I say the church has failed, I'm not talking about all of us. I'm talking about the world of Christians as a whole, as a family. We have failed. There is war in God's house. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, how do we help the world? Paraphrasing. How do we help the world if we can't help the house of God? Okay? And that's what it's saying. And my phone is going on different colors. I don't know. I'm having a bad day. Maybe I should have waited before I did this video. My phone is changing colors. I don't get it. I got the sneezies and anyway, let me read this. It'll only take a second. And when they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, atheists, God gave them over. God gave them over. This explains the epidemics. God gave them over. As atheism is rising, you're going to see more homosexuality. You're going to see more transgenderism. You're going to see, and they think this is helping the world. No, it's not. But anyway, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind. People say, yeah, I don't believe in God. If I shoot you, will God come down here and strike me with lightning? Well, let me tell you something. Right here. God is punishing you every day. When you leave the idea of a heterosexual marriage, okay, when you leave God, or you leave morality to practice feminism, okay, and there's a lot of atheists like T.J. Kirk and Atheism is Unstoppable, who were like, they've been giving the Christians a break and attacking feminism and racial issues, but you don't understand. All these things are the same epidemic, the same spirit. It's all the spirit of atheism. Because as you draw further away from God, you draw further into paganism. You don't need to give it a title. Whatever is in godliness is paganism. Because all morality, all good things belong to God. If they're positive, if they're true, if they're right, they belong to God. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind. You think we're the idiots. The Bible begs to differ. God gave you over to a debased mind to do those things which are what? Not fitting. Where does it fit? Where does it fit, atheists? Where does transgenderism fit into our society? Where does breaking up the family for two people to be married and they look like the same girl or the same dude, where does that fit into our society? To do those things which are not fitting. Being filled with what? Being filled with all unrighteousness. What did I say righteousness was? To be right with God. In other words, to be unrighteous doesn't mean that you raped anybody, you dumb idiots. Being unrighteous means that you're drawing away from the idea of God's righteousness and creating your own. That's what unrighteousness is. I'm reading from the New King James Version of the Bible here. This is a word-for-word translation. Being filled with all unrighteousness and what? Everybody's favorite. Sexual immorality. Now, in the King James, the Authorized Version, it would say fornication. Fornication is any form of sex outside of heterosexual marriage between a man, a woman, and their God. So even people that are married on a secular level, if you're not married because of God, you're right. It doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry. A lot of Christians would disagree with me. But you lose the meaning when you leave God out of your marriage. You get married because, not just because you love her so much or you love him so much, but you get married because of God, the moral aspect of it. Okay? Being filled with sexual immorality, wickedness, covetousness. What is wickedness? Mr. T.J. Kirk getting caught putting bananas up his butt crack. And then going to turn around and argue morality. Miss Jacqueline Glenn doing sexy lingerie shows. And getting in using her beauty to as a form of power. As a form of sexual arousement to others. Okay? That's wickedness. Covetousness. Okay? People trying to take away from others and make it theirs. Black folks, a lot of them, are covetous of white people. When this country isn't predominantly white anymore. It's predominantly brown. There's all these people coming in here from other countries. I went into a restaurant yesterday and felt like a minority. All them Asian people in there. Not too far away from here. I go in certain restaurants, it's all Middle Eastern people. They're creating their culture all over the place. Where are the white restaurants? Where are the black restaurants? Black people, you need to be banding with white people, not hating on them. You need to be bearing arms with them. Because I'm telling you, they're trying to take us over and take us out from the inside. And it ain't just Muslims either. A lot of this stuff is non-religious. It's just politics. It's just money and power. Okay? Donald Trump understands that as well. Covetousness. People want to take America and make it their little China, their little Japan, or their super big Japan, or their super big Saudi, or their super big. You need to wake up, people. You need to wake up. Maliciousness. That's hatred. Maliciousness is when you hate somebody just because they're different than you. Because you're afraid that in their brain they're thinking smarter than you. Or they think of something that bothers you. They have something, their mindset, their education level offends you. Because they focus on things that you're uneducated about. You're jealous. You're malicious. Just like when I go to work every day. There's only one unit like mine. And I'm it. There's people that are jealous. And the minute I have to correct my people and push and enforce the policies and procedures, they get mad with me because now you got jealousy. You got jealousy mixed with hatred. Okay? Full of envy. That goes right along with it. Murder. And when I say murder, I'm not talking about, oh, Cruz, you got something there that only Christians do. No. The Illuminati murder people every day, and half of them are atheists. Or they want you to think that they're atheists. Okay? Blood sacrifice. Okay? A witch. I watched a video of a witch. A witch. Exposing everything that's going on in Hollywood yesterday. A witch. She would know. Even though, and then you wonder why the Christians killed witches back in the day. Witches did more than just spill the beans on other people and keep their own crap from being spilled on. Okay? Witches molested children back in the day. They sacrificed people. They would help other religions find people so that they could sacrifice them and kill them and do all kinds of tortures to them. If you read about Jezebel in the Bible and you read about the Witch of Endor and all like that, come see me again after that. We're not talking about the lady down the street here who's a psychic. Can't make enough money to pay her bills because don't nobody want to go in that stupid place. We're talking about real witches. Left out of your propaganda, atheists. We're not talking about people that just believe different than us. They believe in a different religion. No. These people hurt children. They hurt marriages. They're satanic. They put hexes on people, even though they call it something different in their religion. Satanists call it a hex. They call it something else. They cast spells, and this stuff is all of the same spirit of the same devil. Okay? You think this stuff ain't real. Keep telling yourself that. But you don't have an answer for the epidemics, do you? I do. I have an answer for the epidemics. You don't. It's right here. This Bible will never fail me. You can say whatever you want to say about it. This Bible will never fail me. The answer will already be here. And when you think people are flying around in spaceships, the answers will still be right here. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. You're sleeping. You need to wake up. You walking around with a joint in your mouth. You ain't paying frickin' attention, man. And this is all in the atheist community right here. Wickedness, maliciousness, fornication, full of envy, murder. You got it on your mind. Strife, deceit, evil-mindedness. Evil-mindedness. Maybe you just have an evil mind. Maybe it doesn't really have anything to do with whether God exists or not. Maybe you just have an evil mind. They are whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, violent, proud boasters, inventors of evil things. Evolution, atheism, the skeptic movement, inventors of evil things. Disobedient to parents. What's the first thing that a lot of atheists will say in their testimony of leaving Christianity? Oh, well, I had to go back to my parents and forgive my parents. Why? Oh, because you were disobedient to them. You walked out. You didn't walk out on them because they did anything really bad to you. You walked out on them because of their God. Or you took something that they did wrong to you and you blamed it on their God, just like you claim you left the church. Okay? That's being disobedient to parents. You were disobedient to parents and now you want to make a religious thing out of it. You want to blame it on the whole entire church because you were disobedient to your parents. Undiscerning, untrustworthy. You are. Unloving, unforgiving, unmerciful. Atheists, where is your love for Christians? Why can't you try to find any good coming out of the church? Because you're unmerciful and you think you have the authority to be unmerciful. Okay? But guess what? You're right. Why should you love a God where you can be unmerciful to his people and then expect him not to burn you in hell when it's all said and done and over? I'm sorry. Unmerciful gets an unmerciful response. You want to be unmerciful? Say hello to unmercifulness. Say hello to it. Say hello to unmercifulness. Let me close here. My phone's starting to tick me off. Who, knowing the righteousness judgment of God, that those who practice such things are deserving of death, not only do the same, but also approve of those who practice them. You deserve what you get for being unmerciful. You're unmerciful in your words towards God. You're unmerciful to his people. Why would you not go to hell? You know what I'm saying? You know, I go to work every day, and there's people there the people come in there, and they're very disrespectful, and they're very nasty, and all like that. You got people in prison, okay? And there's people saying, I forgive you. And this ain't got nothing to do with Christians. Just secular everyday people forgiving secular everyday people for secular everyday nasty things that they do. And you can't be merciful to Christians. You have to note them as the scum of the earth. That's a fat lie, and you know it. What you hate is the fact that we're better. We are better than everything out there in the name of goodness. Another biblical term. And goodness is rated with godliness. If it's secular goodness, okay, then it's another epidemic. It's not really godliness. And I've learned that even coming up as a youngster. I chase after godliness. I really don't care about just being good. Godliness is the proper term. Godliness is the proper lifestyle. Because nobody can really be good and not make mistakes. So why not be godly instead of just good, instead of just nice? I'm going to close there. I'm D. Roy Cruz, your Life Applications Officer. Leave me a comment. There will be a part 3 of this.